how to get perfect shots without being observed, what kind of lenses to use. You should use the Nifty 50 or you should use other lenses for candid street photography. What's really working in this type of photography? Let's talk about this now. Hi there and welcome to my channel, Tudor Matescu here. In this video, I want to share with you my tips and tricks and lenses for candid portraiture street photography. For those close-up shots, for those wow shots, for those shots that are making an impact. I will treat the lenses, tips and tricks, what lenses not to use and why do this kind of photography. So if you are in content like this, please subscribe now to my channel, and after this subscribe to my newsletter, links in the comments and description. First of all, why do this kind of photography? For me, I've decided to do this kind of photography because I'm liking humanistic photography, because I'm liking this type of photography. It is very interesting. It's telling a story, a human story, and it's easy to do when you don't have ideas for fine art compositions, for angles and for stuff like this. And after this, it's also helping me have some adrenaline, some suspension, some thrilling on the streets. It's not an easy task to do, but also after you will master it, it will be very easy to do this kind of photography if you'll use the right lenses and if you'll not start with the recommended lenses for a beginner. And another point is that this kind of photography is helping me relax when I don't have any idea and any mood. I can just walk on the street, see an interesting portrait or an interesting character and take the shot and move on and get my mood going. So this is very important for me. It's a great relaxation hobby. Next, what is the lens that I do not recommend to use for this kind of photography? The lens that I do not recommend to use for this kind of photography, it is the 50mm lens to the zooms to the 90mm lens and so on. So under the 50mm focal lens, you want to use a lens for this type of photography. Why is that? Because when you will get close to your subject, like 3 meters to 0.5 meters, with a 50mm lens that has a narrower field of view than a wide-ish lens, then the subject will look at you. The subject will approach you or you will approach the subject, so we'll get closer. But the narrower field of view of the 50mm lens will not offer you the chance to compose it well and to get the portrait. And you'll be observed because from that distance, when the subject will look at you, you will need to compose to get the shot. So to get the shot framed like you will frame it with a wide-ish lens, with a 50mm lens, you will need to do this from 2 meters, something like this. And this is the ideal distance when a subject will look at you. If you'll pass this distance, you'll walk and the subject will walk, the subject will not look at you anymore. And you will not be observed when you'll take the shot. You will not disturb the subject. So the 50mm lens and plus aren't ideal for this kind of photography. Yes, you can use them, and I've used them, but also you'll not get the proximity effect or the wide deformation that it's aiding to the magic of the photo. So this is why I do not recommend, if you are a beginner, use a 50mm lens or a longer lens because you'll not be observed. On contrary, with a longer lens and a 50mm lens that you must really point it at the head of your subject, you'll be observed. With a wide lens, you don't need to point the lens at the head of your subject because it's wide. It's wide and the subject doesn't know what your lens is doing. So very, very important. Don't use these lenses if you are just starting. You'll not get that benefit of a wide lens. Now let's talk about the lenses that I recommend. Now the first lens that I recommend, it is the 18mm f2, the 18mm focal lens. You can use the 18mm f1.4, but that lens, it is bigger, it is more expensive, and it's hard to be used by a beginner because it is pretty big and you really need to get really, really close. So why this field of view? First of all, this field of view, it is ideal in any situation, indoors, outdoors, in crowd spaces, at protest, and so on. So ideal lens to get close when there are many, many people around you. This is a good travel lens, a good lens that it will help you get context if you want to get context, but also it's ideal for street photography, for candid portraits. I really like the Vivian Maier photography. The Vivian Maier photography was made with a medium format lens that had a very tall field of view. And the 80mm f2, this lens on Fujifilm will help you have the dynamic from a wide angle lens, and also will help you get the portrait at a very short distance. And why this is ideal? First of all, it's ideal because, how I've said, the subject, let's say this is the subject, will observe you at 3 meters depending on you and how fast you move. So 2 to 3 meters the subject will observe you. But as you will get close to the subject will not look at you like crazy. Look, a man with a camera, let me see what this man wants. No, the subject will mind his own business. He will just throw a look at you and he or she will mind his or her own business. And after looking at you, you will get close, or the subject will get close, and you'll be able to take the shot easy with the 80mm f2. Why? Because you have a wide angle lens that will help you get the entire subject very close. You'll not be forced to take the shot from 3 meters like with a 50mm lens, depending again on the distances. So it will be very, very easily for you to get to 1.5 meters and nobody will look at you and get an amazing close-up candid portrait. This is very important, and this is where an 18mm f2 it is helping you. On X-T30 Mark II, on X-T5, the AF it's great, you will not have problems in using it, but I will tell you why would you want to use these lenses in manual focusing mode in a minute. The next focal lens that I recommend, it is the 23mm focal lens. The ideal camera for this kind of photography, it is Fujifilm X100V, X100VI, X100F, because they have good AF, they are small, compact, easy to be held in a hand, and you can get really, really close without problems. And the 35mm field of view, it is ideal for this kind of photography. Probably for a beginner, the 80mm f2 could be a little hard, because you need to get a little closer and you could not be comfortable. But with the 35mm field of view, 20mm f2, 20mm f1.4, I have here Viltrox, you'll have the perfect space to get close and to get a nice composition for this kind of photography. Because, how I've said, the subject will look at you, you will get close, and you don't need to get as close as with an 80mm f2. You will be at an ideal distance from you and your subject that will offer you the chance to take different kind of shots, depending on what you want. So the 35mm field of view is really shining in this type of photography, and this is where Fujifilm X100V, X100VI are shining. They are really helping you get this kind of photography very, very, very easily, and there is no other camera that can do this for you. Of course, GX9 with 70mm f1.8 from Olympus can replace X100V for this type of photography. But in Fujifilm terms, 20mm f2, it is ideal if you have a Fujifilm camera with interchangeable lenses. If you want f1.4, I am using Viltrox because it's enough for me, and the 20mm f1.4, it will be pretty big, pretty heavy. I really don't need it for the moment, because the bigger the camera, it will be harder your hand to move fast and for you to move fast, and you'll be observed with the camera. The smaller the camera, the better for this type of photography. And also you really need a tilt screen. It's really helping a lot. Now let's talk about the next lens that I recommend, and this could be the final focal lens. This focal lens, it is the 27mm focal lens. We have the 27mm f2.8 from Fujifilm and 27mm f2 from Voigtlander, small, great, ideal lenses that can help you replace the X100V, X100VI camera. They are very, very small. The Fujifilm 27mm f2.8 has enough AF. The Voigtlander Ultron 27mm f2, it's a manual focusing lens that has all the things that you would want from a manual focusing lens. So you can set this lens at the distance that you want to shoot and get the shot. This field of view, it is the maximum for me for this kind of photography, because if you'll go to the 50 or to the 45mm field of view, you will discover that you will not have that distortion, that it's adding to the dynamic of the portrait, and also you'll discover that it will be harder for you to compose the shot as you are getting it close. But the 27mm focal lens is helping you get nice compositions like a 50mm lens when you want to do this, but it will also help you get Vivian Mall like pictures, how we are talking in this video. So this field of view, the 40mm field of view, it is ideal for documentary shots, for portraits, but also for close-up candid shots. And why would you want to use a lens like this, the 80mm f2, or these lenses in manual focusing mode? First of all, you would want to do this because when you are taking portraits like this, how I've told you, you must take the portrait from a close distance, like 1 meters, 1.5 meters, 1.2 meters, 0.7 meters, depending on your ability to get close. So you preset your lens. Let's say you will put the lens at 1 meters, aperture f8, f11, f16, why not? And get close to 1 meter. With all these wide dish lenses, you'll have the portrait in focus. You can't miss. You can't miss, and even if it's not pin sharp, it doesn't matter. I've used like this Fujifilm X100VI, and I'm using like this Ricoh GR3XO manual focus. Preset your lens to 1 meter and just take the shot, and you'll be the most invisible human on the planet. Because again, the subject is looking at you at a distance from 3 to 5 meters, 2 meters, depending on the scene, on the streets. And after this, he will mind his or her own business, and you will get close and take the shot and move on. It is very, very, very simple thing to do. So it's very easy to do this kind of photography. Now, as a bonus tip, you can go even wider if you want so. Lots of good street photographers are going for this wide angle field of view, but this is tougher, and I'm not liking it too much, this angle of view, because I'm not able to have so much keepers with this focal lens. And the focal lens, it is the 24mm focal lens. In Fujifilm lenses, we are talking about the 16mm f2.8. So a great small lens, great contrast. I'm really liking that lens, but because I don't have the compression of a full frame lens, I do prefer to use full frame lenses in the 24mm field of view. But yes, if you want to go closer and have a more dynamic field of view, also the 24mm field of view, it is very, very okay for this style of photography. But the ideal lenses are the 80mm f2, the 20mm f2, and the 27mm f2.8 or f2. If you want to go just with one lens to rule them all, then that one lens, it is the 20mm f2, and the ideal camera, yes, it is Fujifilm X100VI, X100VI. So these lenses and these Fujifilm cameras are really great for this kind of photography. So if you are liking this content, please subscribe now to my channel, give it a like, leave me your comments, share my videos on Facebook groups with your friends, and use my affiliate links if you want to buy something from the gear that I'm using. And also subscribe to my newsletter and be sure to check my next videos. This is helping me grow a lot. Just click the next video right now. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.